Speaking of mean girls, Regina goes to talk to Aaron for Cady and
What a
ends up
bitch.
back in a relationship with him. Crazy. Which spurs the whole plan to take down Regina George. And they have 3 things that they're going to remove to get her out of power. Number 1 is Aaron Samuels. Number 2 is her conventionally hot body. And number 3 is the army of skanks, aka Gretchen and Karen.
I wonder if they'll still call them the Army of Skanks in the
They
2024 version.
like, I feel like that's hilarious. Like, can you imagine, like, if your friends, you like referred to each other as the Army of Skanks? That's hilarious.
And hello, Be Critics fam. Welcome to another episode of the Be Critics podcast.
So this week we're talking about a classic. It's very iconic. It's got your like high school girly vibe going on. It's kind of a movie of our childhood. I can't really remember not knowing this movie. And it's inspired a ton of stuff since it came out in the early 2000s. I mean, I think there's like sayings that are just like part of our language now that came from this movie.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yeah, I think that's an understatement. I think this definitely is the movie of our childhood specifically. So if you're in the age range of like 27 to 30, like this is the episode for you because get in, losers. We're talking about Mean Girls today. So if you haven't seen this, I don't know where you've lived under a rock or something, but the story of Mean Girls, Cady Heron, is the innocent, homeschooled girl from Africa going for the first time to a real-life public high school. Cady is immediately thrown from animal world into girl world, quite possibly a much scarier and definitely sneakier place. Cady finds quick friends in Janice and gay best friend Damien, and the 3 of them make a plot to take down the Plastics, using Cady as a double agent. And the Plastics are the A-list clique at the high school, comprised of Karen Smith, my favorite character in this episode, or in this movie, Gretchen Wieners, and of course, Regina George, the pretty popular girls who start rumors and collect them in their burn book. However, while Cady is supposed to be taking down the Plastics from the inside out, she quickly finds herself getting suckered into their mean girl ways and also into Regina's ex-boyfriend, Aaron Samuels. Cady learns the hard way that the perks of being a plastic aren't quite as fabulous as she thought, but that being kind and honest are what build friendships in the end, even if everyone knows that you're actually just a big mathlete nerd.
What a nerd.
I mean, yeah, I can relate. I was
social suicide.
I was Mu Alpha Theta president in high school. Have I ever told you that?
I was in the club. I guess it's an honor society. I was in it, but I was not president.
Yeah, I was president. So Cady is literally me, except I wasn't like as hot as her in high school. I just was a mathlete nerd.
Listen, nobody looked that good when we were in high school. I'm just gonna point that out.
Yeah, but they did wear the scary makeup like she wears. That was the thing. People were experimenting.
Stuff.
What I remember most from when we were in high school is that girls would wear foundation that like literally you could see like the line on their chin of where it started. Do you remember that?
I don't. I was like not into makeup, so I had no idea. Like I'm pretty sure I did not put on a single bit of makeup until like junior prom.
Wow.
Just like completely unaware.
You. I
don't know.
Did wear makeup, but I wore like exclusively drugstore makeup that I didn't know how to use. And I'll never forget when I showed up at college, one of my really good friends, Mary, you know her, I like brought my literal Ziploc bag full of the makeup that I owned. And like she took one look at it and like fell on the floor laughing because she was embarrassed for me. Now I've upgraded and I shop at all the places and get makeup and I have like a routine, but it's not looking so fabulous right now, so don't look like too hard the video if you're watching. Okay, well, Mean Girls, an hour and 37 minutes long. In my opinion, a quality length for a movie.
100% agree. Y'all know we love a long movie. Well, sometimes, depending on the movie, we love a long movie, but the shorter ones are fantastic. I was like, "Oh, I can turn this on after dinner and still be in bed by like 9:30. This is
Yeah.
fantastic. Love it."
Yeah, it's the perfect amount of time for a movie like this, and like the
Mhm.
arcs of things that need to happen like any longer, and it wouldn't have kept my attention, but it captured my attention that whole hour 37 minutes.
Yes.
That's for sure. And this movie came out in April of 2004. So
Yep.
the new Mean Girls movie that's coming out is almost like exactly 20 years later, which is
Yeah,
kind of cool.
almost.
I can't
That
believe
is
it's
kind of
been
wild.
that long. That makes me feel old. So I
Yeah.
was 7, 8, 8 when this movie came out.
We
I
were
don't even
in like late elementary school.
Yeah, like 4th grade.
Yeah.
I can't believe I watched this in the 4th grade. I'm sure I did too.
Let's just like give a little context about 2004. So like let's like travel back in time. So like
Okay.
here's what was happening. Here's some I found 4 things that like describe 2004 in my mind.
Okay.
Okay, so the first one is the bird flu that was going on.
Oh, I don't remember that. Not at all. I didn't get sick when I was in elementary school, so I was oblivious to anyone getting the flu. For sure.
I definitely remember bird flu and like everyone being scared of it.
Oh.
But the second one I have is George W. Bush was reelected for his second
Ugh.
term.
Okay. That does feel like a very marked thing that was part of that
Yeah.
era of time. Yes.
Martha Stewart was convicted and imprisoned in 2004.
I didn't realize that she was convicted that long ago.
Yeah,
What?
I know.
Wait, for real?
People still talk about that
I feel like I
20
was
years
still
later.
watching like Martha Stewart on the TV. Like, did she get convicted and they just kept playing her show? They must have.
Yes. Yes. Of course they did.
Wow. That's
Um,
crazy.
and then last, and this is like very early 2000s, and I was shocked when I saw this, but in 2004, Gmail was launched.
Okay.
There was
That's
no Gmail prior to that, which I just can't even imagine.
that's weird. Well, because didn't like YouTube, which is also Google owns YouTube, right?
I think they do now. Yeah, they do now.
YouTube came out in 2006.
Oh,
No,
I have no idea.
2005.
I wasn't
So,
really allowed to use the internet. So,
oh, really?
yeah, my family did not let us use the internet. We watched movies and we played like get that guitar game on the
Interesting.
Wii. Yeah.
No, we had 2 desktop computers in our like playroom and we had unrestricted access to the internet. So when I was like, I guess this around this time is right when YouTube came out, like the next year. And I was like addicted to YouTube. Like that was like the thing that I did was go on YouTube. And I also had many Gmails that had really cringy names like
Soccer
soccer
chick.
girl 17 like yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Oh my god. So there's also some notable movies that came out that year, 2004. Top of the list is Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. We just did
Quality
an episode
movie.
on that. Go listen to it. Um, The Notebook, another
Oh,
Rachel McAdams movie.
that is so drastically different than
So
this
different.
movie.
So different.
Wow.
And
And
she is like in her mid-20s. So she's not she's not young. I mean, she's young, but she's not like a teenager.
I was gonna say, like, I think in this movie it's interesting because she's playing like a 16-year-old and she definitely looks older than that.
Mhm.
But in the notebook, she ages through being a high schooler to being older.
Mhm.
So I think it's interesting that like they recognize in that film too that she has the ability to like range and age.
Yeah.
So
She has incredible range in general, but yeah,
oh yeah.
just crazy.
She's a great
Um,
actress.
she is. The first Saw movie came out in 2004.
Wow.
13 Going on 30 came out in 2004.
Wow.
The movie White Chicks, Dodgeball,
Wow.
The Life Aquatic.
Okay, well, White Chicks coming out in 2004 definitely makes sense for the humor that's
Yes.
in this movie
Yes.
because there's like when I was watching it, I was like, "Oh, the movie that comes out this year is going to be very different humor wise than this movie. Like you could not make this movie in 2024 because it would not be PC in any way. No. But some of the things, like I couldn't help it. Like my 2004 brain came out and I was like, this is hilarious.
It is funny. We're immature, okay? It's fine.
Yeah.
You're allowed to enjoy it. And then there's 3 movies that I feel like every high schooler watched at least one time. One of these I feel like you haven't seen, but I know about the people that have. So Sleepover, Confessions of a Teenage Drama Queen, and Super Size Me.
Oh, we did have to watch Super Size Me like in middle school. Yeah. So like a few years after
Don't
that.
eat McDonald's. You'll get fat and die. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I believed it after watching that. Not going to lie. It was scary.
I still eat McDonald's. It's fine.
I still eat McDonald's. They have the best chicken nuggets.
Ew. You do not eat McDonald's chicken nuggets.
And French fries.
Okay, the French fries, yes. The chicken nuggets, though?
Yeah.
Hayden eats them too. He'll get like 40 of them and like wolf them all down.
Yeah. Or if I get like a McDouble, that's great. Love that. However, I feel like shit afterwards. So I don't always order that, but I want it. I actually want one right now with like ketchup and pickles and grease.
I had a Happy Meal recently.
Oh my God, literally pulls a Happy Meal like out from behind the camera. What?
Because they
have some like movie related prize. Is that what they're
Disney 100? Okay, so you can get all the little Disney characters.
Oh.
And I'll show you. I'm gonna have to give one of these to you, but it's Leia.
Oh, cute. Wow, that's so fun.
I think this guy's name is Miguel. I have no idea who this is, but
is he from Coco?
Probably. I don't know. I haven't seen that.
Back in the day, I used to collect Neopets that they gave from McDonald's and Happy Meals.
Oh my God, I was such a Neopets weirdo.
Wow, 2004 was the McDonald's Happy Meal era too. Like my family went to McDonald's so much. I had so many toys from there. And then you would get like the same Neopet over and over again. You'd be like, Mom, we need to go to a different McDonald's so we can get a different one.
Oh my God.
Fine. Okay, so the Mean Girls movie has had a budget of $18 million back in 2004, which is kind of low feeling, but it only box office $130 million. So I feel like it was well budgeted.
Yeah. I mean, what were they paying for? Like they didn't have any special effects. They didn't use like big name actors. Like other than like the 3 adult characters, and they would have been in it for free probably because it's Tina Fey.
Yeah, but Lindsay Lohan was the big one that they were paying for, I guess. She was like the new like it girl actress at the time.
Because Freaky Friday had just come out.
Yes, yeah, and it's really interesting because I read a lot of stuff about how Lindsay wanted to be the role of Regina, and the actual is this Paramount? Yeah, Paramount. The Paramount like head of Paramount basically stepped in and was like, absolutely not. Lindsay has to be Cady. Because she has to be like the good girl, basically. Yeah. That like everyone roots for. So I thought that was interesting. It's interesting, like, I wonder, I mean, they have to, like, producers have that same power, but like when it feels appropriate for them to like step in and make a call, basically.
Yeah. From what I saw, that was like mutual. They were like, nah, you got to be like the good girl. And she was like, I don't know about playing a villain if that would be good for my career.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
So they were probably discussing it. She was probably like, I don't know, like, should I not? And they're like, well,
no.
We're going to make this easy for you.
You shouldn't. So the director is Mark Waters. And then
he also did Freaky Friday.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Love the direction he took with this. I think it's really creative the way a lot of the things are done in the movie, like with the split conversations with the phone calls and stuff. It's very fun to watch.
Or like the animal scenes when the children the high schoolers turn into animals.
Yes. Yeah. Very good.
Mhm.
And screenplay by Tina Fey, which, what a queen.
I had
What?
no idea that she wrote the screenplay for this. Like, none. And I didn't know she wrote the musical either, and she wrote the new one that's coming out, like,
Yeah. I
that's
knew that she
incredible.
did the musical and everything. So I didn't know, but like then when I read that, I was like, oh, that makes sense. And like she's such a good writer and comedian in general that,
Mhm.
but
Yeah.
this is a creation that I have mad respect for her for.
Yeah. I feel like she's one of those too that people rally behind. Like, she's able to get names that other people aren't.
Yeah.
Like, Amy Poehler follows her around. And
Oh my God.
you know that if it's a Tina Fey movie, Amy Poehler's in it and she's fabulous. So
Amy Poehler is a gem, an absolute gem in this movie. I don't think I realized because like I haven't watched this movie in a while, and I was watching it and was like, oh my God, like that's Amy Poehler. And she's so fabulous. Like she's perfect for it. She's
yeah, she
hilarious.
is perfect.
And then music is by Rolf Kent. I don't remember a whole lot from the music other than we've got subtle Africa tones, like jungle music kind of vibes.
Mhm.
But it does have some like fun, like teeny bop
Bops.
hits, which
Yeah.
are really fun to listen to. There's like one that's
Mhm.
kind of like a common thread through the movie that I like. And then produced by Broadway Video and distributed, already mentioned, but Paramount Pictures.
Mhm.
And notable cast, obviously we have Lindsay Lohan who plays Cady, and then you've got Rachel McAdams who plays Regina George. Another fabulous casting. This movie
Mhm.
would not be the same with any other Regina, I think.
No. No.
And
Actually, I did see that Amanda Seyfried was almost Regina George.
I think she would have been good too.
But they
But
were like, she has the doe-eyed look. She's got to be the dumb one.
I think Amanda Seyfried is like, she makes the plastics. I think she is
Yeah.
hilarious as
Karen's
Karen.
fabulous. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So funny. And then the other plastic is Lacey Chabert. I
Mhm.
don't know a ton. She's Gretchen
Gretchen.
Wieners. Um,
I don't know that she's done a ton,
yeah. Well,
but
she's pretty
she
good in
was,
this role.
yeah, she was great. I love Gretchen. Gretchen might be my favorite character, honestly.
Yeah, I think Gretchen has like an interesting arc because you see like the emotional side of her,
Mhm.
like being tormented by Regina her whole life, basically.
She gives me Elle Woods vibes too. Like trying to do the right thing, but also like wanting to fit in and like whatever.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And her dad is the owner of Toaster Strudel, inventor of Toaster
Inventor.
Strudel. Yeah. So then we have Tim Meadows who plays,
Mhm.
is it Coach Duval, right?
It's Mr. Duval. He's the president. Or not
Oh,
the
the
principal.
the
The
president.
president.
Yeah, he is good. Um, I think he plays that part very well. And
Mhm.
then we've got Lacey Chabert. No, I already said Lacey. Lizzie Kaplan, who plays Janice.
Mhm.
And then obviously Amy Poehler and Tina Fey, the
Other
dynamic
two
duo.
adults in the movie.
Yeah. Yeah. No, they're both good too. The
Yeah.
whole cast, I think, had really good chemistry.
Mhm. Wasn't Katie's mom also one of the comedy people? What's her name?
Anna
Yeah, yeah,
Gasteyer.
yeah. She was one that so Tina Fey, like all of the adults in the movie are comedians.
Hmm.
And they're all like they all run in the same circle, which I
Yeah, well,
think is
she
kind
was
of
on
cool.
Saturday Night Live.
Oh, they're all the SNL people.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
That's
yeah.
how they all know each other.
Yeah.
And that's why they're all like such good writers and also like very adaptable comedy characters.
Mhm.
And then the other one that we didn't mention is Jonathan Bennett as Aaron Samuels.
Mhm.
Because I think he like epitomizes this era of boys
The
when
way
we
he
were
looks.
8. Yeah, for sure. Like
Mhm.
think about like High School Musical that came out like around the same time. Like
Troy Bolton.
yeah, yeah, like everybody was obsessed with that like dopey like Jacques, but like actually like sweet and appreciated the nerd kind of thing. Like that character was so
Yes.
that time. And they all have the like same shaggy haircut.
Yeah, the like it's almost like a bowl cut. But it's not a bowl cut.
Yeah, like the straight, like
Yes.
thin brown
Yes.
hair. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep, that was the look. What year did High School Musical come out? That was 2004 too, wasn't it?
I don't think
Oh,
so.
2006. It's a little bit later.
Yeah, we were in high
Okay.
school when High School Musical came out.
No,
Or at
I
least
was
I was.
10. I was 10
How old was I? I was
because I
12.
remember
So yeah, we were in middle school.
who I had a sleepover with to watch the High School Musical
Or
2
I was in
premiere.
middle school. I guess you might have still been in
Yeah, I was a
elementary
baby.
school.
But I have like 2 friends that I was friends with in like 5th, 6th grade, and that's who I went and had a sleepover with to watch High School Musical 2 premiere. And it was so good because they did all the like in the commercial things too.
I remember we had a friend that had one of the big like blow up outdoor screens. And
What?
so she would throw like the viewing parties, and like all the parents would like come. It was like a block party, and they would all be like drinking and having fun or whatever. And the kids are all like eyes glued to the TV, waiting for High School Musical to start. Like,
Oh, that's so fun.
yeah,
We
it
did
was
not
very
want
fun.
parents having a block party while we were trying to watch High School Musical, but I get the sentiment. That's cool.
All right, so we are about to talk about the movie. We're going to go through all of the details, but before we do, we just want to say thank you so much for tuning into our episode and all of our episodes. We wouldn't be doing this if you guys weren't paying attention to us, so thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you guys so much. We love y'all. Like, thank you for listening. If you are loving it, definitely share the pod with a friend. That's the best way that you can thank us for this content. And then also be sure to subscribe or follow us wherever you listen and leave ratings or reviews as well. And then you can also interact with us on our socials.
Yeah. So we're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube at bcriticspodcast. We've got some fun content. Plus, you can see what we're up to. We post movies we're watching. Sometimes we get to go see movies early and we post about that. So, yeah, check in with us.
Yeah, to follow us. And then also check out our new partner, Reload. So the Reload app is an app that houses movie reviews. It generates personalized movie recommendations, and then it's just like a place to build community for people who love movies like us. So we're on there so you can interact with like your friends and your favorite content creators and kind of see what movies that they're recommending at the time.
They've also started partnering with some streaming services and they're offering movie streams through the app. So, like for Christmas, I think they had like 10 Christmas movies that are really popular that you could stream through the app. So, if you don't have streaming platforms, you can also go and watch movies through Reload as well. And it's completely free. You just go and download the app and then use our code when you sign up. And our code is BCRIT. That's BCRIT, BCRIT. And it's B as in boyfriend, C as in Cady Heron, R as in Regina George, I as in I can't wait to see the new Mean Girls, and T as in toaster strudel.
Eyes, and I can't wait to see the new Mean Girls. I mean, I can't either, but that's a stretch, girly. Okay, I think it's time to get back into the episode.
All right. So, the very beginning of the movie, Cady is starting her first day of school ever as a junior in high school, which I can't even imagine. Um,
No, not at all. That sounds
Junior in high
terrifying.
school. She also had grown up in Africa being homeschooled by her parents. So
Mm-hmm.
she probably didn't have a lot of interaction with other kids her age. And I just I'm still stuck on the fact that she's starting high school as a junior in a new location. Like that's crazy.
Oh yeah, it's crazy, but I love the parallels the whole movie, especially at the
Mhm.
beginning of like her time in Africa and then her time in high school and like comparing like the jungle scenes and then the people at high school, and there's
Yeah.
such good casting of like random high school students. And they're all so wild. I love it. And the
Yeah.
scene too when they're at the mall and they're being like
Mhm.
jungles or jungle
Yes,
people
the
too.
watering hole.
Yeah.
And you just hear like the wild cat noises and the like growling and grunting of different animals. It's fantastic. And they've also got these people to like be down on all floors and like licking their hands and like, oh my God.
Yeah, yeah, but it's
So
great in the
fantastic.
school. And then the school bus bit too, because like
Mhm.
right off the bat, you get that bit, and then when it like comes back later, it's like, oh
Cute.
yeah, that was a
Mhm.
thing.
And it comes back multiple times too, which is just hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
But on her first day, we quickly get acquainted with the majority of the cast. So right off the bat, you get Miss Norbury and Mr. Duval, which is Tina Fey and Tim Meadows. Then you get Damien and Janice, which become her friends. And then you also get the Plastics.
Mm-hmm.
And we get this like montage of people obsessing over the Plastics and sharing like rumors that have been made about them. And it's just like hilarious the things that people say. And like I remember in high school, like that's what people thought about like the popular girls. Like I heard she insured her hair for $10,000.
Yeah.
Like of course, like that makes total sense to everyone involved. Like
Yeah,
I
they
don't know.
captured the rumor mill of high school in such a
Uh-huh.
good way.
Yeah.
And I love how they like bring it off right off the bat, and especially all the people that are like, I heard Regina like such and such,
Blah, blah,
like
blah, blah, yeah.
yeah. And then but I love how they like bring it back constantly like throughout the movie
Mhm.
too.
Yeah. Like the one where and it's the girl that she's in all of them and
Oh
she like
yeah.
randomly comes up throughout, but she's like, Cady Heron wore army pants and flip-flops, so I got army pants and flip-flops. And like that's yep. Yep.
Yes.
2004 to 2010, absolutely. Like that is the way it was.
Yes.
Something interesting is there's some like choice jokes throughout. And we already kind of talked about this, but the jokes that we get are the like cut down versions. This movie was originally rated R because it
Really?
had so many like risque and sexual innuendo jokes in it. So they cut a lot of it out, but there's still a lot in there.
I think
Like a
that's
lot.
why I think that's why it's so funny though,
Mhm.
because like I think it's almost like a little too mature, and I think that's why like when I'm watching it back now as like a late 20 something, like I appreciate every single joke in this movie. Like I think they're
Yes.
all hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah. So then Katie's second day of school, um, she's sitting with the Plastics. She gets invited to sit with them. Um, and they kind of tell her about the rules. And it's like immediately right off the bat, you know Regina's being shady. Like everything that she's doing, the way she's speaking, her and her like, shut up. Or like, oh my God, I love your bracelet. Where'd you get it? And it's like the ugliest bracelet you've ever seen in your entire life.
Mhm.
And you just get like bad vibes from her right off the bat, which I think was good. I'm glad that they didn't like ease into it. I'm glad that right away, you're like, this girl sucks.
Oh
Like,
yeah, and Rachel McAdams is insanely good at that role.
she's
Like
perfect. Oh my
yeah,
gosh, she's
just the energy that
perfect.
she brings to it. And also
Mhm.
that like moment when Cady is first meeting them too is probably like some of the most quotable moments of this
Yes.
movie. It's like on Wednesdays we wear pink.
I had forgotten Karen said that. Like, when
Yeah.
she said it, I was like, Karen gets the most iconic line from this whole movie. Like, I completely forgot.
Yeah. I probably have already said it and probably will continue to say it throughout this recording, but I think Amanda
Uh-huh.
Seyfried like makes this movie. Like I think
Yeah, she
she's
does.
so good.
Vital. Like, if they had not gotten that part right, a lot of the jokes wouldn't have landed because she
Yeah,
just
for
did it
sure.
so well.
Yeah, she's so ditzy. I'm
Yeah.
I'm so curious like if the because I feel like making this movie today is so much more challenging, like making somebody super ditzy. Because I feel
Mhm.
like just in general, like the generation today is a lot more respectful of people. Like this 2004 is still when like people were actively bullied in school. So it was like kind of
Yes.
fun to like
Name calling and all of
insinuate
that.
that somebody was like so
Stupid.
dumb or like too gay to
Yeah.
function or like all these
Yes.
things that like you would
Oh my
never say
god.
today.
And the, like, blatant racism, like, throughout the entire movie.
Yeah, the use of the R word like 3
Oh
times,
my
and I was
god.
like, I
Oh my
literally
god.
have to call that the R word now because we don't say that anymore. But
No.
back in 2004, which really isn't that long ago, like
20
people
years.
were just using it, and I mean, I know I was, and like people around me were,
Yes.
and yeah, Yeah, no. So,
Mhm.
but I hope they come up with like just as witty of jokes that land kind of in the
Yeah.
same way. I
I'm
think they will.
sure. I'm sure they will. Day 2, we also get Aaron Samuels,
Ugh.
the heartthrob, America's sweetheart. There he is. Football
He
player,
he's cute.
whatever.
I think he's cute.
He's fine.
But it's so funny though because it's like this is the era of movies when like all a boy has to do is look at you and you fall in love with him. But to be perfectly like brutally honest, when I was in high school, that was all it took was a boy to look at me and he was cute and I was like, "Oh, I love
We're in
you. Like
love.
we're in
We're
love.
gonna date.
Like this is I'll fail math." I mean, I actually never failed math for a boy, so I can
No.
say that I'm
I would have never acted like I
no.
was dumb, ever. If
No.
anything, I would have been like, "Hey, want me to tutor you?"
No. Well,
I would have done that.
no. I I had like not a complex, but like I was like I told you, like I was like Mu Alpha Theta president. Like I was pretty good at math. I was pretty good in school. And like
Mhm.
I felt like people knew that about me. So like I would try really hard not to like overly talk about it too much. But I would never like diminish my smarts. I was trying to get the grades, you know?
Yeah. Trying
Yeah,
to
it was
get into
important.
college and get a
Yeah.
scholarship.
That's like
What
probably
it's
the
all about.
only part of this movie that I feel like is like wildly unrealistic is that she purposefully failed math class. But
Well, if you think about it, she had no concept of like grades and stuff because she was homeschooled. So she
yeah,
was like, I mean, it's bad, but like, what do I care?
yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I will say too, these are all juniors, and you never once hear them talk about college. Never. Not until the end of the movie when she talks about Aaron going off to college. That's the first time they. And like by the time I was a junior, I was like already talking about which colleges I was applying to. I'd already taken all the tests. Like,
Yeah, I'm glad they didn't talk about college. That would have been so boring. I don't need another college threadline movie. I just wanted to know about high school.
so day 3 of Cady's high school career, she is eating lunch with the plastics in the ugliest giant pink shirt I've ever seen.
That was the cringiest thing when she was like walking down the hallway with them and she's like wearing Damien's oversized pink polo. First of all, people did wear those polos in
Yes.
2004.
Yes.
I
My
think
dad
I
still has
owned
one.
some.
My dad
Oh my
still has one.
gosh.
Like, I'm pretty sure that exact polo.
You know how like fashion like comes back around? Like that
Yes.
just needs to stay. Those polos
Yeah.
need to never come back cuz I do not look good in a polo and never will.
It's coming
So,
back, though. It's coming back. We talked about it a little bit in our Saltburn episode, but the double
mhm.
polo thing with the popped collar, it's
The
like on
double polo
runways.
thing?
Yes. Not even joking. It's disgusting.
Ah,
Not a fan.
no.
Not a fan.
I'm not surprised though because we've slowly been transitioning to this like wildly oversized clothing stuff. I love the
Mhm.
like monochromatic, like you wear like all one
Yes.
color, but I don't
Yes.
support the double collar pop vibe. Nope, that can stay in 2004
So can Live Strong bracelet. Let's
forever.
not bring that
Oh
back.
my gosh. Yep, those were bad. Did you have silly bands?
Oh my god. Silly bands were banned at every school I went to. They're like, no more silly bands. No one's allowed to have them.
I am not surprised. People would
They
come
were a
with like their
distraction up
arm
their
like
arm.
covered in
Yes.
silly bands. I'd be like, "Do you have circulation in your hand though?"
Blink once if you're okay.
They would probably be like, "Leave me the fuck alone. These are my very important silly bands that I went around this town trying to find."
That are stupidly expensive.
Yes. Yeah. That's
Um,
okay.
so anyways, she eats with the plastics, which is kind of crazy. Because they are like the cool girls. They have all these rules, one of which being you can only wear your hair up one day a week.
Yeah, so
That's
she used that
insane.
one.
I wear my hair up all the time.
Can we talk about
Um,
too how she like on her first day she ate in the bathroom and then like later in the movie she also went and ate in the toilet. When I was watching that, I would be like I was thinking like never in a million
no,
years would I eat in a
you could just go
stall in the
sit
bathroom
outside. Why in the bathroom?
or just like
That's
go sit
gross.
at a table or anywhere, like go sit in your car. Like do not I could never eat food in a bathroom.
No. No.
I can't even bring, like, when I'm at a bar, I can't
I
even
won't
bring,
even bring
like,
my drink in.
no.
No.
Yeah, no. That's crazy.
No.
Although a bar bathroom is different than a high school bathroom, but a high school bathroom is arguably
More gross.
worse,
Yes.
which is
Yes.
sad.
Public restrooms in general. Ew. Ew. We also get introduced to the mathletes. So we
Mm.
meet Kevin G, and he gives her the cutest little business card I've ever seen. And it may or may not be inspiring me to make some personal business cards to hand out to people.
Because Kevin G gave you not the ick when he handed them out?
Not the ick. Not the ick.
Yeah,
I would
well,
have been
that
friends with Kevin G in high school, so I'm not allowed to say he's icky.
oh, okay. Yeah, no, he scares me, and I would not have been friends with him in high school probably because he had, like, way too much energy for me in high school,
I think I
and
was Kevin G in high school. That's so sad, but I think
I
I
could see
was.
that. That's okay. I think I mean, you're Elizabeth, you're literally telling me this boy in this movie did the cringiest thing ever. You're supposed to watch it and be like, "That's cringy," and you were like, "I loved it so much, I wanna do it now." That's what you took away from
Yes,
it.
yes.
So,
Badass MC, yes. Yes, please.
I'm terrified.
Badass
Well,
podcaster, that's all I have.
don't make
Podcaster
me
and
those.
crafter.
I will never hand them out, so don't make them for
I'll
me.
hand them out on your behalf.
No, you're forbidden from doing that. No. No.
Oh my god.
I don't want any part of that. No. I've worked for many companies where I've had business cards
I've
and
never handed out a business
I've
card
never
ever.
handed out a business card. That sounds like the dumbest thing ever. Which I'm sure, like, if you're in sales, like, you
It's
you
useful,
gotta
yeah.
use them. But, like, I would never give somebody my business card.
Okay. Day 3, we also get the mall. They go to the mall together. And that's where we get the watering hole scene that we already talked about.
It's so
And
funny
then
that everybody hangs out at the mall. Like,
oh, we used to. Did you not in high school?
yeah, people hung out at the mall. But then they started, I don't know if they did this where you lived, but they started having, like, mall curfews.
Yes. Like
Yeah.
if you're here past 8 p.m., you have to have an adult.
It was earlier than that. It was like 6 PM because they, like, didn't want people hanging out there.
No
So, like,
loitering
you pretty much couldn't go to the mall if you
after
were
school.
under 18. So,
Yeah, they did
yeah.
that where we were too, but I'm
I
pretty sure
don't
we broke
remember,
those
like,
rules.
going to the mall to, like, hang out, though.
Oh, we
Like,
did. We would just like walk around
mm,
and like go to stores and never buying
mm,
anything.
no, we didn't do that. But I went to the mall with my friends, but, like, I don't remember there being, like, all the kids from my high school, like, hanging out at the mall together. That was never a thing.
That was a thing.
That's
Like
cool.
if there was a cute guy, you'd be like, "Oh, like we'll go to the mall and like wait." There's this guy that I went to school with. His name was Sam, and like everyone was in love with Sam. And me and my girlfriends would be like, "Let's go to the mall and see if Sam's gonna walk by. And we can say hi to Sam."
That is the most high school thing, and I think it just goes to show how well they captured the high school experience in
hmm
this movie
Yeah.
because, like, that is literally what they would do.
hmm Then we go to Regina's house, and we meet the George family.
Yes. Yes, and we
And
get Amy Poehler.
Amy Poehler, the sister, the little sister that
Mhm.
is way too mature for her age. And a lot of things happen. We get introduced to the burn book,
Mhm.
and we also see the plastics interacting with each other. They're like commenting on how ugly they are and not being nice to each other and like all these things. There's just like a lot happens at Regina's house.
Yeah.
You get let in on a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm obsessed with Amy Poehler. She
Mhm.
gives you, like, a window into why Regina is the way she is. And then I love the moment when she, like, brings them the, like, margaritas and Katie's like, "Is there alcohol in this?" And she's like, "Oh, of
Oh
course,
god,
sweetie.
no. What
Would
kind of
you
mother
like
do you think I
some?"
am? If you'd like some though.
Oh my gosh, she's so good. And then the burn book, I okay. I do remember being like very self-deprecating in like middle school and high school. So that's like super accurate because you're growing and you're changing and you're like learning your body, and so it's a tough time. I don't remember being like that mean to my friends. Like I think I was a lot nicer
No.
to my friends,
Mm-hmm.
but I do know like people that were like that, like for sure. So I can see, I can believe that they were like
Mm-hmm.
that.
Yeah. It's unfortunate, but yeah, Amy Poehler. So she was almost not cast for that role
Mm,
because she was only 7 years older than Rachel McAdams.
yeah,
And they were like, I don't know if this is going to work.
they
But
made
it
it work.
did. It worked. Yes, it worked. It was perfect.
Well, I was thinking that
Um,
when I was watching it because like I was realizing that Amy Poehler was that role,
mhm.
and I was like, Amy Poehler's not that old. Like, how
No,
did
she's
she
not.
play this role? They just like
A
aged
lot
her
of
a lot with
makeup.
like makeup and her wig and everything.
Mhm. Yeah. And then there's the one scene because they talk about her boobs a lot because apparently she'd had a boob job. And the dog biting her nipple. Every time I'm like, what the hell is going on?
There's
And
like
that
3 times in this movie where like the joke goes a little too far, and I'm like, I wish it hadn't done that. And it wasn't good in 2004 and it's not good now.
No.
So that's definitely one of them where I'm like, okay, we could have done without that. But I think that this was the only watch where I watched that and kind of thought it was funny. Like I think I've
I think it's
always watched it
hilarious.
and been like, that's so dumb. And this time I was like, okay, I can see how that's kind of funny.
But that whole situation with the dog and the nipple was a bit that they came up with and they were like, this is gonna be hilarious. And to get the dog to do that, they put a cocktail wiener in her shirt. So the dog was actually like biting on whatever prosthetic that she had on.
I mean, that makes sense because the uh, nipple looks so big. So it's like a little one of those little cocktail wieners. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh, what
Okay.
an interesting add to the movie.
So then Cady reports everything back to Damien and Janice, and she starts to feel bad about the whole situation, but they kind of move on from it. And then she gets invited to Aaron Samuel's Halloween party. And she doesn't get the memo that you're supposed to look cute at a Halloween party. And she shows up in an ex-wife costume,
Her
which is
costume is terrifying. I would never have
awful.
done that in high school.
No. Are you kidding? Absolutely not. I
But
was like
also,
Daphne or a black cat or something. Like, never would have been a scary character.
I don't remember girls in high school being like that.
Slutty.
I was going to say that, but yeah, that slutty. Like, I do remember them being slutty, but like that, I feel like the movies like always take it up a notch. But maybe
Mhm.
it is possible that like in 2004 when people were in high school, because that was like before our time of
It's
actually
like
being in high
Britney era
school.
too.
Yeah, that like people actually were like that. And I believe it because like every movie from like the mid to late 90s and early 2000s, they portray high school Halloween parties like that. Like Legally
Mhm.
Blonde. I guess Legally Blonde's in
That's
college, so
college.
it's different. Um, but they're all kind of the same.
No one I was friends with ever dressed like that. I remember specifically one year, my two best friends went as a bunch of grapes, and she literally like blew up purple balloons and put them all over herself. And the other friend was a roll of carpet.
Yeah, that
So
those were the kind of costumes that me and my friends did as well. We were not cool being slutty animals. But
my parents
I
would have
did
killed me. I would
oh
not be
yeah.
alive today.
Yeah, my parents would not let me leave the house, but I probably would have just like changed when I got somewhere, you know. I'm sure that's what everybody
Mhm.
did.
Yeah. I also like how anytime Cady would walk into a room, everyone would scream, be like, damn, that's scary. It's like
Oh yeah.
so overstated. I
Why
love
did
that.
none of her friends tell her though, too?
Because they're mean girls
Yeah.
and they didn't want to tell her.
Yeah.
Speaking of mean girls, Regina goes to talk to Aaron for Cady and
What a
ends up
bitch.
back in a relationship with him. Crazy. Which spurs the whole plan to take down Regina George. And they have 3 things that they're going to remove to get her out of power. Number 1 is Erin Samuels. Number 2 is her conventionally hot body. And number 3 is the army of skanks, aka Gretchen and Karen.
I wonder if they'll still call them the Army of Skanks in the
They should.
2024
That's
version.
like, I feel like that's hilarious. Like, can you imagine, like, if your friends, you like referred to each other as the army of skanks? That's hilarious.
No, I could not. I loved the use of like the fat suit thing with her getting fat, like subtly.
You could tell. You could
Yeah,
see
yeah, it
it.
was so good.
Oh my god.
And honestly, that is like the most evil thing in this movie is that giving her those
The
bars.
calcium bars.
Yes,
And telling her to only eat carbs.
that in high school would have honestly been like that would have like messed with you
Oh my
mentally.
god.
Yeah, not good.
So then we get the talent show and the Candy Graham scene. Both iconic scenes, like
Very
incredibly
iconic
iconic.
scenes.
I don't know about you, but that's not how the talent shows at my school went.
Mm.
Um,
We had similar talent shows actually in our middle school.
yeah.
People and we actually had high school talent shows. I just never went to them, but I think they were
Yeah.
kind of similar. I don't think anybody came dressed as slutty Santas and did a dance, but people did do like random shit, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. Like the rapping Kevin G and his
There
rap thing.
was always somebody who did rapping. There's always somebody who like plays guitar.
Oh my god, speaking of rapping, you know who did rapping for a talent show at his school?
Who?
Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, I saw
Timmy
the
Tim.
I've seen the TikToks going around a little bit. I scrolled by that one because I was like, I don't. Okay, this is gonna be a controversial opinion, but I don't get the obsession with Timothy Chalamet.
Oh, I
He's a
love
phenomenal
him.
actor, but he's not that cute in my opinion. I, I'm sorry if I'm making enemies in this current
We've
moment.
been
Liz is
over
on your side,
this.
people.
We talked about this in our Little Women episode
Yeah, that's okay.
because he's Lori and some people like it, some people don't.
A lot of people like it. I think I'm the love loner over here.
Okay, so the Candy Grams.
Yes, conniving.
That's iconic. One for Katie Heron and none for Gretchen Wieners.
Yeah, that's a very iconic line as well. Those were a thing, like, in high school, I'm
Yes.
pretty sure, like, doing
And
the candy
roses
grams.
at
Yeah.
Valentine's.
I
Yeah.
feel like they're just, like, trying to spur drama.
Yeah. Like, what is that? Like,
I feel like
why? And then
yeah,
you felt like you had to buy them for your friends or your friends were going to think that
that
you
you
didn't
hated
like them.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Stupid.
if you didn't get one from a boy, which, like, I probably very rarely did, I'd be like,
I
"Well,
never got
okay."
one. And I had a boyfriend in high school. So
Oh, rude.
I know he sucked. I don't know why I dated him.
That's how every high school boy is.
Yeah.
Then they grow up. They become
Yeah,
better.
then they grow up. So all of this spurs Regina George falling from graces. She's no longer allowed to sit with them because only sweatpants fit her and she's not allowed to wear sweatpants. And
The
not
sweatpants she was
only
wearing too, sorry to interrupt, were the, like, juicy
Juicy.
couture ones, which I definitely had that
I did
sweatsuit,
too.
and
The
that needs to never
velour.
come back either, like, the
Yeah.
low-rise juicy
I mean,
couture
it's
sweat.
already back. Those are already back. The
No.
velour tracksuits are already back in. It's terrible. They say juicy across the butt. It's kind of cute. It's kind of not.
Nah, I'll stick with my Dick's Sporting Goods brand gray sweatpants. It's the move. Mhm.
So then they announce the nominations for Spring Fling Queen. And 3 of the 4 plastics have been nominated, which is a big issue. And so Regina starts falling from graces. They stop talking to her. They get mad at her. And Cady decides to throw a party at her house. small party, a small get together that the whole school ends up at. She lied to Janice and Damien and told them that she was going to a show with her parents. She lied to her parents and told them she was going to Janice's art show. Purposefully didn't invite Regina so that she could have Aaron Samuels all to herself.
Yeah,
But of course, Regina shows up.
And she's got the Caltine bars in her teeth.
He's like, why are you eating a Caltine bar? And she's like, I'm trying to lose weight. And he's like, oh, they give those to us when we're trying to go up a weight class.
Oh, yeah. That whole situation where Cady throws the party is like a spiral out of control.
Yeah, it's
like
bad.
You're watching it and you're like, girl, what are you doing? No. Like, But that moment where Regina finds out about the Caltine bars is gold. It's gold. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah.
So Regina goes on a rampage. She goes full sicko mode and decides she's going to use the burn book as collateral, pretty much. She puts herself in the burn book. She takes a bunch of copies of all the pages, and then she turns the burn book into the principal at their high school.
Oh my God. The part when she, where she wrote, Regina George, she is the nastiest skank bitch I've ever met. Do not trust her. She is a fugly slut. Golden. Literal
How many
gold writing
mean
Tina
names
Fey.
can we put in these two sentences?
She is a and that that shot where she's like you watch her write it all out and then cut the picture in half and put the picture and then it's her and you're like, oh, I see where this is going.
Yeah. Oh my God, she's terrible. So then chaos ensues naturally, like pure chaos. It's like a he said, she said situation. And Mr. Duval has decided that the girls just need to learn to love each other.
Mm-hmm.
So he puts Mrs. Norbury in charge of having this seminar with them to teach them to love each other, which I don't know if this would have worked in real life, but
no. And it questionably didn't work in this movie either, because Janice just gets up there and exposes everything.
Yeah. She's like, I don't know why I did it. Maybe it's because I have a big lesbian crush on you.
So many parts of that scene are great. I like when they're in the bleachers and Tina Fey goes into mom mode. That's super cute. And then I like when they're all doing their confessions and falling on each other. And you also get the bit with Karen and Gretchen where they fall on each other and no one else helps them. And
Gretchen's like, I don't know why you all hate me. I'm so sorry that you all hate me. And she goes to fall backwards. It's just Karen. One note I had. So Mr. Duval is played by Tim Meadows. And in this scene specifically, and just the whole second half of the movie, whenever you see him, he's in a cast. And
I was wondering
they kind of play it off that he has carpal tunnel. But Tim Meadows actually broke his hand and was had to wear a cast. They couldn't take it off. So he just has it on throughout the movie.
It's kind of funny.
It's hilarious.
Because it didn't really detract from the movie at all. I was just I don't remember anything happening to his hand. I'm just going to go with it, I guess.
Something weird that a principal would do is wear a cast around.
100%. Principals were the weirdest people. Honestly, anybody that works in school, the weirdest people. I don't know what kind of person, no offense to principals out there, but need a power trip over 16-year-olds, but children, it's kind of weird. And they're really nice people, but they've just got something quirky about them and you're like, it all makes sense why you're a principal.
So after all this happens, Cady starts to feel bad about the whole situation and realizes that in order to make it all go away, she just needs to take blame for the burn book and then start making amends with everyone. Also, Regina gets hit by a bus. That whole scene happens. And
what a funny ad to the movie.
For no reason.
And she's just like totally fine, but is wearing that like neck brace thing. Like no
And
scars,
no scratches, no bruises.
no bandages, literally just that brace.
Goodness. So then Mrs. Norbury or Miss Norbury says, in order to make it up to me, you have to join the mathletes. The mathletes get to go to the state championship. And that whole thing happens.
My favorite part of that is when Tina Fey is like, Cady, you've got this in the bag. There's the whole team over there. Not a single one of them is cute and they can't distract you. And they're all like actively, I hate to say this, but none of them are cute. They do a very good job of making them all ugly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which I feel like they wouldn't do that today. They wouldn't like make people like look ugly. Like it's so crazy. Like that feels so like not PC, and it's only been 20 years.
You're like, this is not allowed. We are better than this.
Yes.
You get the limit does not exist scene where she gets
limit does not exist.
The final question, and they win the mathletes state championship, and then they all go to the spring fling to celebrate
the state with the great turnout this year.
There was like 10 people in the audience.
Yeah. And then they wear their varsity jackets, like their mathlete varsity jackets to the spring fling. Why do they have prom?
And their khakis.
Yeah, it's fine. Those were a thing back in 2004 for sure.
Naturally, Cady is the spring fling queen.
And gives a speech.
Gives a not necessary speech. Her parents are there for some reason.
That's always how it goes in his movies. The parents are always there at the final dance when the main character gives a speech.
Yep, always. Yes. She breaks up her little plastic crown because she decides that everyone deserves to be the spring fling queen. She has this little tiny crown and somehow comes up with 50 pieces to give out to the crowd, which makes no sense, but sure, we'll go with it. She gets the guy. Kevin G gets with Janice. And they all live happily ever after.
Kevin G getting with Janice is cute. I also think
he has that whole thing where he says that he only because Gretchen tells him that Cady's into him, and then he says, I'm only interested in women of color. And then Janice, who's arguably the most colorless person in the movie, is the one he goes for.
She's Puerto Rican, though. Oh, Lebanese.
Yeah.
Oh,
and he's like, I feel that. It's like, girl.
Yes. He was the one that said, you're Puerto Rican, right? And she's like, no, I'm Lebanese.
Yeah. I feel that. Yeah.
Oh, that's cute. I like the thread of him being like tried to set up with Cady too.
Yeah. So then the very end, the final act, Cady has cleaned up. She gave up trying to be cool. Regina joined the field hockey team.
That's weird.
I guess it's kind of cool as a jock. I don't know. And then the freshman plastics enter the premises.
Yep.
And that's where it leaves off.
Exactly the same. What a fabulous movie.
I know. I don't know if you knew this, but there is a sequel.
Yeah, I did know there's a Mean Girls 2, but I've never seen it.
Mean Girls 2. The only returning character in Mean Girls 2 is Mr. Duval. Tim Meadows is the only one that's in it.
Oh, so it's like just like a later year in school.
Yeah.
That's funny. No, I've never seen that. I'm curious, like, what you thought. You know, we've mentioned it a lot about how like some of the jokes didn't really like. I think they hit, to be perfectly honest, but maybe like in the new movie they wouldn't make it the same way. But it's got to be like a totally different experience, like watching it now versus 20 years ago, which is crazy that it was that long.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm curious to, like if you had the same experience while you were watching it about like some cringy jokes and stuff.
I think I appreciate it more now than I did like when we were younger. Because like I get all of the jokes and we lived through it already. So we're like, yep, that's how it is. That's how it goes.
So you haven't always loved this movie? You like?
Yeah, I don't think I always loved it. I think I liked it and part of that might have been just because everyone did.
Mhm.
But yeah, watching it this time, I definitely enjoyed it more. I can't remember the last
Okay.
time I watched it, maybe when we were in college, but yeah. Have
I
you
feel like
always loved it?
yeah, this is like a classic movie that I've liked and always thought is funny.
Yeah.
Um, I love that like the humor in this one is like my kind of humor, I think. Some of it's
Mhm.
like a little bit too far, like the dog nipple scene, but like love it. And I think like I mentioned, all the jokes still hit today
Mhm.
when I'm watching it.
Yeah.
So I think the only difference watching it now is like some of the things, because I haven't watched it in probably a few years, and some of the jokes that they made, I was like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah, this is a 2004 movie.
Yeah.
But
Early
other than that, it's
2000s
fine.
humor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about like favorite character in the movie? I already told
I
you mine is Amanda
Karen.
Seyfried. Yeah.
Yeah. I think I really like Gretchen. I think
Yeah.
Gretchen is underappreciated, like,
Yeah. No,
just
she's
in
cute.
general.
I think all the
And I
plastics
think
are appreciated in this movie.
well, I just think, like, in general, like, in comparison to the other characters. One thing I will say about Amanda Seyfried, so she has, like, a ton of screen time in this movie, like, a
Hmm.
lot of screen time, and she's, like, the 12th listed on the billing, which is
Okay.
kind of wild, because she's a main character, at least a main supporting character,
Yeah, she's definitely a supporting character in this movie.
but this was also her first film that she was
Really?
ever in.
I think it's one of her best. It's
It
so
is
good.
it's a really good. I mean, she's been in so many great things, like Les Mis really showed her range. I don't think you've seen Mamma Mia, but that's, like, she's fabulous in Mamma Mia, like,
Yeah, that's like a beloved movie,
yeah,
and she's the star.
she's the star, yeah. Yeah, she's great.
Yeah. What about I mean we've mentioned a lot of the favorite quotes, but any like favorite pop culture references to Mean Girls?
So, one that I have that I just always think is funny because it comes up every year
Mhm.
is that in 2013, the Obamas tweeted about Mean Girls,
Okay.
and they have a dog, Bo, and it was a picture of their dog, Bo, and he was holding a tennis ball in his mouth, and it said, "Bo, stop trying to make fetch happen."
Aw, that's cute. I feel like there's so many Mean Girl references, and like just when we were
Mhm.
in high school, like people would
Yeah.
always say like the "Oh my days we were pink," and
Yeah.
like that will never
Mhm.
go away. I think
People
that
have,
will.
like, parties centered around the pink theme, like, on Wednesdays we
Yeah.
wear pink, or, like, the pink outs for games, or, like, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
I love to I made you watch it before this, but the Ariana Grande "Thank You Next"
Mhm.
music video,
Yeah.
and it's she pulls in Mean Girls is definitely like the biggest influence because it like
Mhm.
starts off the whole music video, but she pulls in a couple other great movies like 13 Going on 30, Bring
All
It
early
On,
2000s
Legally
movies.
Blonde. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they all have like the same vibe kind of, and
Mhm.
she gets the guy who plays Aaron Samuels to come and be in the music video.
She
I
got a
was
lot of the cast from all those movies, like,
yeah.
a surprising amount of the
And Kris
cast.
Jenner filming as Amy Poehler in the
Oh my
Santa
god.
talent show.
Oh boy.
Yeah, but I was obsessed with that music video when it came out,
Yeah.
and I think probably I mean, one, I love Ariana Grande and I love that song, but I like this movie a lot too, so
Mhm.
that probably has a lot to do with it.
I feel like Mean Girls will never not be relevant. Like, I feel like there's gonna be a place for it, like, forever, which I love,
Yeah, especially
and
now that they're making well, yeah,
yeah.
like rebooting Mean Girls and kind of like
Mhm.
revitalizing the movie.
The excitement around it. So the whole reason why we did this episode is to get excited for the new Mean Girls movie that's coming out very soon. It comes out on the 12th, and it's been titled as a musical, which there is musical numbers in it. But the common misconception around that is that every part of it's going to be music, which is not true. There's spoken dialogue in the movie as well, so don't be scared if you're not into musicals. I think it will still be really good. Something interesting I've seen online is that it will include numbers from the Broadway show. So
Cool.
there will be some that you've heard before that come up in this movie. We mentioned this already, but Tina Fey also wrote this one. So, it's going to be like along the same lines.
Yeah.
And she's been very clear that this is not a remake. This is an adaptation of the original movie.
Well, it can't be a remake because we mentioned it, but they can't remake that movie. Like,
no, not
it
the
would never
same.
work. Yeah, it has to be a little different.
This one is going to be a little bit longer. It's almost 2 hours. It's going to be an hour and 55 minutes.
Yeah, because they can't make a quality hour and a half movie these days.
They could. I feel
won't,
like a lot of them like include stuff that's like unnecessary in it, which like we'll see what happens with this one.
I mean, this one will have musical numbers. That's probably why it's like the full movie plus the musical numbers. So
yeah,
I think it'll be great. I love a good musical. I loved High School Musical.
You need to go see Wonka. I really, really enjoyed Wonka.
Oh yeah, I forgot that's a musical.
Why is your face like that? You're like, I love a musical except for Wonka.
It's such a different. It's okay. It's not a High School Musical. Very different vibes. I'm not unexcited about Wonka. I instantly got the Willy Wonka song stuck in my head. The like, stay with me. The like imagination
song.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the new movie is going to have a pretty notable cast. We've got some returning cast members. So Tina Fey and Tim Meadows will be back, and I believe they're playing the same characters. And then there's a slew of new characters that are people that you'll recognize. So Renee Rapp, John Hamm, Ashley Park, and Busy Phillips is like some of them. But I was reading through the cast and I think I recognized almost every name. They're all like TikTok stars and just people that you should recognize if you don't live under a rock kind of situation.
Was Renee Rapp like in the Broadway show?
I think so.
Yeah.
From what I've heard, I don't know much about her, but she's fabulous. So I think she will do great things.
She's really good in Sex Life of College Girls.
Yeah, I haven't watched that. I've been
her
meaning
music,
to.
obviously. So,
how do you feel about the casting for this musical?
I think it's good. I'm glad Tina Fey is going to be in it. I like Renee Rapp. She could. I mean,
yeah,
I'm sure it'll be musical singing. It's not going to be like fabulous, but no, I think Renee Rapp will probably do a lot of the singing because she's actually a singer. I'm curious about John Hamm, but I think he's probably a good casting as well. So I think it'll be good.
Yeah, and then just to like wrap up talking about the new one, how do you feel about this movie? Just like gut feeling, everything that you've seen online, going into seeing it very soon, like how are you feeling about it?
I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be different than the original Mean Girls. So I'm not like, I wouldn't say I'm like quite as excited about this one as like I was about maybe like going to see Barbie, for instance. But I do think it's going to be good. I just think it's going to be kind of like a different vibe than the original Mean Girls. But maybe it won't. I mean, it is written by Tina Fey, so it probably has a lot of the same spirit as the original Mean Girls.
Yeah. I'm most curious to see, like, we've been talking about it a lot throughout the discussion, but I'm curious to see how they bring the humor in.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to change it.
Like, yeah, for sure.
The things that they say, they just can't, like the slut shaming, the fat shaming, the racism, like all that has to go.
Yeah, so it's just gonna be like a totally different movie, which is it's fine. I feel like they can make a version of this movie that doesn't have any of that in it, but still has quality comedy, and it maybe it could be better. You never know, but definitely will be a different feel, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, are we ready to rate the movie?
I'm ready to rate the movie.
Okay, well, as a reminder, we rate our movies through Letterboxd, so it's 0 to 5 stars with half-star increments.
Yes.
Liz, you're up first.
I gave this one 3.5 stars.
Okay.
It was good. It's a good movie. I enjoy watching it. It's not like my favorite thing to watch, but I mean, 3.5 is a good score. So
yeah, that's a great score. I gave this 4.5 stars. I
Wow.
love this movie. And the only reason it doesn't get like that extra half star is because I kind of think that the end part where Cady gives the speech and then like breaks the crown and then like some of the things that happen, like Regina being the I feel like the end could have been a little bit better. That's the only
Mhm.
part. But
Yeah.
I love this movie. I think all the comedy hits. I was enthralled watching it. So yeah.
Okay, so we took a few weeks off having write-ins, but we do have some write-ins. I'm very
Yeah.
excited about it. So the first one we have is from The Lazy Binge, and they said an accurate representation of high school girls. They/we are animals.
Agreed. Honestly, high school girls are the worst. I'm so glad to be
So
done with that
bad.
era of my
So
life.
bad. Next, the next write in is from Tom's Movie Madness. And they said, fantastic with 2 exclamation points. Hard to explain why, but it's just iconic. I
So
feel that.
iconic.
I feel that on
It
so
is
many
kind
levels.
of hard to explain why, because I feel like all I've been
Uh-huh.
saying is like the comedy hits, but I just think it probably goes back to what you were saying about like the jokes being like almost too mature, like they had to tone it down. Like
Mm-hmm.
that for me, I think is what makes this movie great, is that it's just like a
Yeah.
little bit on the edge of like being too much.
It's a little risque.
Hmm.
Okay, the next one we have is from Movies in a Pod Shell, which is another podcast. And they said, banger. Do we need a new one?
Yeah,
Good question.
we'll see.
Good question. And then the last write in I have is from our faves, the movie boners. And they
Hmm.
said, one of the best. Rachel McAdams' range is incredible.
Yeah,
Agreed.
yeah,
Agreed.
she's great in this, and she has a like a stellar career to follow this as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the last thing I'll say for the write ins is we did get a fellow film podcast write in and just say that they're also covering Mean Girls. So if you're interested in more Mean Girls content, you can go and check out the Film Thingy podcast. And they have more of like, we're comedy, but theirs is like comedy. So if you want to go and get more Mean Girls before you watch the new movie that's coming out soon, go and check them out.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go through the ratings.
Yeah.
So we've got the letterbox average for this movie is 3.5 out of 5. So
Mm-hmm.
what you are basically right on.
I feel like
And
it's
then,
hard to find a movie that gets above a 3.5 rating on Letterboxd. Like,
yeah, I think what I've learned from rating so many movies in Letterboxd is that people just have different tastes in movies. And so what
mm-hmm.
one person might think is a 5, another person will think is a 2, and you're like, I don't understand, but okay, that's fine. You do you. And it could be like there's like no rhyme or reason to it sometimes. Like it's
mm-hmm.
just it could be like the time that you viewed it, or like who you were watching it with, or who knows what. But so many things influence your like
Yeah,
viewing of a movie.
for sure.
This all kind of shook me. The tomato meter, 84%, which is like pretty good.
That's
And
pretty
then the
good.
audience score is a 66%. And I
That's
literally
garbage.
don't
That's garbage.
understand why, because I know people love this movie.
Y'all are all liars. Everyone that's reviewing this on Rotten Tomatoes and saying that it deserves a
Tomatoes.
60 tomatoes, saying that it deserves a 66%. Y'all, you're lying. I know I gave it a 3.5, which equates to 70, but like I feel like this at least
right on that number.
I feel like it at least deserves like a B. Like a
Yes.
B to a B plus. Like the tomato meter is right this time. And we hate the tomato meter critics. So
Mm-hmm.
y'all are all liars. The audience score 66. That's crazy.
Well,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
And IMDb is kind of in line with that. They're 7.1 out of 10, but then
Mhm.
87% of Google users like the movie. So that's, I think, where I expected this to be. That like most
Yeah.
people genuinely really like this movie. Yeah.
Yep. All right. I think that's it. I think we covered it all.
Yeah. Yeah. This
Very,
is a long one.
very in depth. And next week we're going to be talking about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which is one of Court's
Ooh,
faves. It's
I'm
very
so
exciting.
excited.
It's going to be our first animated movie that we talk about. So
It's a great animated movie to start with because I think it
Mhm.
won Best Animated Picture of that year and was
Mhm.
the first movie to do so that wasn't like a Pixar movie since like 2006, and it came out
Yeah,
in like 2018, I think. So
very well made. all from what I've seen on Instagram, at least, all of y'all love it. So we're excited to talk about it.
I'm very excited. So be sure to subscribe or follow wherever you listen so that you don't miss it when it comes out. And you can find us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Google Podcasts.
Yep. All right. That's it for today. We'll see y'all next week.
Bye, guys.
Bye.